So it kind of makes some stuff a little harder.
Gotcha.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, I'm happy how.
For some reason, I was thinking we played this map already.
Yeah, good job at that.
I actually,
Krabs.
I actually fully
right now,
expected.
sorry if your eyes are bleeding.
See,
That would be my fault.
oh yeah.
I actually fully expected to lose to this map. Like,
Credits to Spectorious for the textures here.
I'm about to say I mean, I don't know how that was the case. These textures look terrible.
I mean, I don't think they're bad on their own. I think the dithering is a bit excessive and it causes weird visual artifacts from a distance.
I
I guess you're right on
think the dithering on the rocks was where I went a bit overboard personally.
See, I was thinking when we had the time, because the reason that the textures in here aren't accurate to the color and after the sequel is because SRB2's palette doesn't allow for that. But
Right.
at some point for the MB release, Kanna and I were planning on making a custom palette and editing the textures so it lined up.
yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to play other maps.
Well, yeah, it'd be a separate MB release.
Actually, that's not
Yeah.
entirely true. Like for me personally, I mean, looking at the source material, while the textures in terms of contrast and general depth were still great, I wasn't a massive fan of the colors they used. I think they were kind of like it was a very flat and fairly unappealing turquoise for me personally at least.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
I don't remember how that map looked in after the sequel.
Yeah,
I mean,
me neither.
See,
Krabs. In terms of color, the sort of approach I went for was like, since this is more jungly, I wanted to give it more of a lush color palette. Considering when you get into that sort of region of the world, like things do start to look a bit more lush and colorful.
So, so when I was replaying this map today, I basically realized that I had essentially one complaint with the texturing. That when I did my video review, I don't think I had narrowed in on it quite enough. And the thing that like, I think this is the thing that bothers me. In the outdoor natural sections, the background textures don't have a different hue.
Are you talking about the leaves and stuff compared to the grass?
No. So you have the green stuff is like here's before, but then you have the blue stuff in the background, and the blue stuff in the background is just rock walls. But I wanted to have a foreground rock, and then I wanted to have a background rock, and I wanted them to be different hues. And so I have all these different shapes and the variety of. I mean, texture is the right word, but in this context, the word texture means something else. The variety of textures, no, because it's not. It's so you have all these different patterns of that same blue color. In terms of you have the larger scale pattern, and you have the smaller scale pattern, and it creates a difference in texture of the texture. And so, like, and that's all cool, and like that difference in texture selection, I think works. But I wanted a different hue for the outer edges. In order to help me define the edge of the play space so that I could read the volume of the space.
That makes sense, because contrast is contrast of color is a very good way to communicate to the player, hey, go this way, or hey, this area is safe footing.
See, this stage had a lot of cut content from what it was intended to have. I think it was funny. This poly object room, when I had made it, I was unsure what to add, but my main thing was like, how can I make this stage more interesting and memorable? What will people remember?
Poly
A room
objects.
full of polys. And that was fun to make.
They're fun to interact with as well, I'd say.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think.
As I was saying about the custom palette, though, Krabs, there's a level header option to choose a custom palette per stage.
Yep.
Yeah,
I didn't
That
know.
was fun.
Yep. A lot of people back in the like N 2.1 days definitely took advantage of the custom palettes for levels and stuff, and even Sugoi 3 does that as well. And
Yeah, it does.
Sev's level in Cart actually does that as well.